town of mine, for I still have pride of place in this town of mine, for I still have pride of place in this town of mine.
They were living on Broom Street, Sootle, which is Broomsdale Road now, 24 Broom Street, with my sister, who was 8 when I was born. So she was born in 38. And she remembers that my mum went to Batley maternity home and my dad took her and said, "Your mum is having a baby," and she didn't know what was happening, went back home, and then Dad did as well, because at that time men didn't stay with the wives. And then next morning Daddy said to her, "You've got a sister, I'm going to call her Valerie." And my sister said, no, I'm reading Peter Pan, I wanted to be called Wendy. So I got the name Wendy because of my sister. So I'm named after Peter Pan, really. That's why I've never grown up.
Mortimer Avenue, up Ely.
And what's your earliest memories of that area?
It would be me living in Bellevue Street, right at the top of 39. All I can remember is basically playing out with my mates on that road, liking a bit of football, having a good old laugh, yeah.
Cool.
Getting into a bit of trouble as well, every now and then.
Yes, even knickers. The person that got the best knickers used to sleep with them under the pillow.
See, I must have never got the best knickers because I never had any under
You were
my
almost
pillow.
too slow, you
No, I probably didn't even have any.
Yours were threadbare with the gin. That's it, we had
Knickers
them.
and socks, you used to get knickers and socks and sleep with them under your pillow because you got best.
See, I don't know where I was, Sam, because I didn't have all that. Probably
Stop
didn't.
trying to be posh.
I'm not being posh, no, I just don't
Can't remember it.
No,
Can't
it's
remember.
like
And that's at Abbey
I must have
Road.
walked around without shoes and knickers.
Maybe you never took yours off.
No, that could be true.
See, your sister's had all your plaits and your shoes away then, Jean.
Yes.
Terrible. Bad Pamela.
And we did just have stuff passed down, didn't we? Mainly me from Armira.
I'm going to say nobody could pass out.
Yeah, she was older, she sees, so
All right, okay.
and then Armira were 18 months older than me, so I used to get...
Weren't the four of you?
Yeah, but there's 5
Actually,
years
there were
between
5
them
years,
and
not 4. 4 years between me and actually.
4 years, so she like
Up to being almost 7, so I thought it was just me and my younger brother. I thought I was the eldest, just me and our John. And there's always been a love-hate relationship with John. He loves me and I don't hate him. But I do distinctly remember saying from an early age to my mum and dad, "Can you not take him back to hospital and bring that girl back that you wanted?"
Oh God.
But I found out totally by accident, really. My grandma picked me up from Purwell School, and I don't know what he'd done, probably done something to annoy me, and I just said to her, innocently enough, "I wish I had another brother or sister other than our John." And she says, "You already have, love." And I said, "What do you mean?" asked her, and it turned out Mum and Dad had been married before, and my mum had had 3 sons and a daughter, and my dad had opposite 3 girls and a lad. So yes, in up to 7, almost 7-year-old, I thought there were just the 2 of us, and I've still a sister I've never met.
Mother's side, the Guides, they had a general store and off licence in Sheffield.
Alright.
And I used to go over there as a kid. sometimes for a day visit, but sometimes my mum would take me for a weekend, or sometimes even they'd take me on a Saturday and pick me up the following Saturday.
Brilliant.
And I was about 6, 7, 8 year old at the time, and I used to help out in the shop. It was a bit like an arkwright shop.
Yeah.
There was a fairly heavy Jamaican contingent around there, so my grandfather supplied black-eyed peas, split peas, that type of thing.
Brilliant.
And I used to spend a lot of my time in his smock, which came down to my ankles, so he was a tall fella. He was an ex-guardsman, and I used to bag up the sugar, flour, black-eyed peas, split peas, etc.
So what is it, a time when...
pound, £2 bags.
As the Caribbean community were growing, so he'd have been there at the beginning of them?
This was sort of mid-50s.
So
yeah.
He were there at the forefront of it then?
Oh yes.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah,
right place, right time then, weren't you, by it sounds?
Yeah.
Excellent.
And it being an off licence, and obviously being a young kid, I couldn't, I didn't sleep too well away from home. And my grandma found a cure for that. She used to give me a little supper before I went to bed, and it was cheese sandwiches with the crust cut off.
Alright.
Yeah.
Make your hair curly, you know.
It done worked. And a bottle of barley wine.
Right.
That worked. Boy, did I sleep there. I used to love going there. Roll supper time, here's a bottle of barley wine, Geoffrey. Thank you very much, Grandma.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's...
Found out later it was 9.5% proof, boy. Nice sleep.
Your parents?
Yes, we all went to Hanover Street Congregational Church, which was a church immediately behind the town hall. My mum and dad used to go to church there, they used to drag me there, and then of course, then you got into the Sunday school and you went through the different classes in the Sunday school and eventually into other things within the church. And it was a very friendly church and lots of people that you met even then, you know. Even in the congregational churches, you used to have pews which were dedicated to certain families. And I know that one of the families in front of us was the Taylor family, you know, the mill owners. Right. And blow me, the guy, I've forgotten his first name now, Mr. Taylor, and I were christened in the same month. And we know one another now. He lives up at Batley now, you know. And it's amazing, and that all goes back to Hanover Street Church.
Fabulous.
Mixed with boys, talk to boys. Not really, no. Things weren't that. My parents weren't very strict, so no, we weren't told not to do.
Free rein.
Yeah.
Excellent. Again, we're of that generation, really, aren't we? Were your parents or other members of your family mill workers?
My dad was.
Right.
Yeah, my dad's brothers were. My grandparents were. My grandparents came here to work in the mills, and my great granddad was one of the first Asians in Batley to own a car.
Wow.
I think he's on, if you Google his name, it will come up to say that he was one of the first Asian men in Batley to own a car.
Oh, what was his name?
Aysha Karolia. And you know that small mosque on Brocklehurst Road?
One at Batley Car, the small one.
Yeah, right
on the corner. Yeah, it's been there since the 50s.
My granddad started that.
Right.
He was the very first ones to, he opened
Fantastic.
it. Yeah, so
my
my granddad was one of the first.
I've always been struck with tiling and what have you on there. I think it's...
My granddad and two of his other brothers came, and they were the very first people in Batley.
Brilliant.
One brother died straight away, within 2 weeks he died.
Oh dear.
And then the other two, my dad, my mum's my dad, and no, actually it was 3 brothers. One came in Blackburn and he settled in Blackburn. And they came first, worked in the mills and got themselves settled down, and then my grandma came, and then my mum came, and she came in a ship. Took them 3 months to get here with all my uncles and aunties, and that's another story. You know, they've got a great story to tell about that. But yeah, they all followed later on.
Mill workers.
Yeah, both my mum and dad worked in mill, yeah, when we were young. My mum, they worked at Charlie Robinson's, which you know about, don't you? Charlie's.
Tell us.
Well, they worked at Charlie's, and then it was we used to go meet them on a night, and we used to go through little corridor, through Penny Hall as they called it, where they used to clock out and in and that. We knew a lad that worked at office there, and he used to let us stand in there out at warm. But we were only up street, right? We're bottom of our street with Charlie Robinson's. Right. But we used to like to go and meet him coming home from work, you know. And then my dad worked at Taylor's, then in his later on, at Taylor's Mill, Lakeridge.
That's great.
Yeah, and we can. We've
got loads of footage of Taylor's Mill.
Yeah, and we can remember. I can remember the horse and cart pulling with the baskets on with I think it had wool in it or something, you know. And we used to run down and swing up back of the baskets, you know, to get a ride. So yeah, I can remember that.
Fabulous. So how far back do your links to town go? Have you tried to trace your roots?
No, I haven't. I haven't. My brother did try it one time and he only got so far, you know, so I haven't tried it.
Your mum and dad were from Batley and...
my dad actually was born in High Wycombe.
All right.
Yeah, and then he came to Batley because his parents were, his dad rather, he worked at Howley Pit, he looked after horses, and he lived up there near up Scotsman Lane. And so, but my mum was born, you know, were in Batley. But having said that, her parents were from Irish descent, you know, from when the cow came over in potato famine.
There were an old lady across called Mrs. Broadhead, and she was a right fat woman. And she used to come across, and she used to, when she came across, my mother couldn't get me and my brother to bed, because she used to tell us all about when she was courting her husband. And she was the loveliest woman you could ever wish to meet. And we wouldn't go to bed when Mrs. Broadhead came across. We used to sit at her feet, and she used to tell us all these stories.
Fabulous.
About her husband. They once went to pictures together, and they must have won a prize with a ticket, the ticket to go in.
Yeah.
And this fella, he gave her a nod one day, and he gave her this ticket. And she says, I must have been thick, I didn't twig on what had happened. But her husband had, he was her boyfriend then. So he says, oh, come on, I'll change your tickets, making an excuse. So she changed it, and he won a big box of chocolates, and he wouldn't even give her one. But she used to tell us all these stories, and we were intrigued with her.
Oh, when he went to, have you heard about him? It went to all weddings. Willie Reddyoff, they call him. And he went to everybody's wedding, and he took a bowl. Give up laughing. He took a bowl, and if they didn't ask him for his tea, he took it back. And that went on for years in Birstall, and it was always there with his top hat on with Willie ready off.
Really ready now.
Well, that's a character, isn't it?
Eh?
That's a character.
He was a character. And another girl, her father had been a herbalist, and I don't know, she wasn't just right. She'd walk on funny, and when you took kids, you know, they imitated, they didn't know they were doing wrong. I mean, Catherine did it every time she saw her, and I kept giving her, making her stop, but poor lass couldn't help it. No, I don't know any more characters. It's that woman on Brown Hill that used to take out, she had a load of kids, and when she went shopping, she used to take the clothes off, so that they couldn't make fire. She left them all at the house while she went shopping, took the clothes off so they couldn't set fire.
They are characters, aren't they?
I don't think I think it's a lot to be sensitive.
That was on Brown Hill, that one.
Lake out.
Lake out.
Yes, I used to lake out in the brickyard.
Yeah.
And of course, we had to stay in the brickyard. You didn't wander off.
Mm-hmm.
And my sisters used to take me to the park at the bottom of Jessop's Park.
Yeah.
Yes. And then of course we used to play in Ben Brown's fields. But it's close to home, always,
Yeah.
you know, close
I've
to
seen
home.
the old photos of Jessop's Park and it looked absolutely
It was
beautiful.
beautiful.
And now it might just, I don't know. I don't know, they've got cheek to call it a park. But I can't remember it being like that. Even as a kid it was just all, I mean, only time we went into Jessop's Park really, what a shortcut to school.
And when I was very small, we lived in one of the family houses that was actually in the street. And it was with the mum being very productive, it got too small for us. But I can remember standing at the bedroom window and watching the street lighter come and light the gas lamp across the road.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
And then he came to turn I don't know what time in the morning, but he must have, you know, he'd come in the morning to turn it off. But
I came at tea time to turn it on.
That's
When we
great.
lived on Warwick Road, there was a gas lamp at the house.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to get laddie the lamplighter just the same. Gas lamps in those days. It's going back a bit, isn't it?
It certainly is, but there you go, Donald.
Yeah, that's...
Well, I used to play out with the lads in Calliow Lane. We had the football field and Bruce's field and the old diggings from the First World War in Marriott's fields between Little Park, between Wilton Estate and Calliow Lane there. There's what called the outcrop, and that was ideal for playing cowboys and Indians or Lives of a Bengal Lancers and all those things, the old outcrops. Unless old man Marriott caught you, because he used to come round with his gun. I don't think he ever fired it at us, but he used to lift it up.
The thought of it made you go home.
But what stands out in my mind used to be chumping time. And used to go around the mills getting the old skips. We always had a bonfire down
used to burn like
Calliow
because
Lane.
they were full of oil, you know, carrying the wool about.
And we used to have fights between the Whiteley gang and ourselves and the Healy gang and ourselves, and they always lost because we had the old pit heap and we had a heap full of bricks to throw at them because the old pit was there up Calliow Lane, and it used to be a dare to walk across the Fielding shaft because it was a fair drop down from, but it was a plank across, and it was a dare to walk across the plank up Calliow Lane, the old pit.
In the street, in Victoria Street, because hardly anyone had a car then, the most dangerous thing that came down on the road was the horse and car that brought the milk. And the other place we used to lake out, as you've asked me, was up Batley Fieldale and Callinow Fieldale, where the fields were, which houses the Batley Boys High School now, and also a few houses. So we used to go up there and play up there in the summer. We played a makeshift cricket game, middle of the street. We played cowboys and Indians.
Yeah.
and hid behind all the different walls. We played havoc with the neighbours when it was mischievous night.
Yeah.
Like then they had snakes on the doors, and anybody who don't know what those are, they just press down, it lifted up the bar to let you in. And we used to get drawing pins and put some of the milk churned horses' dirt on the drawing pin and put it on the snake, and then we'd hide, and when somebody came home then without thinking that press, and what did they do? They licked the thumb. That was the worst thing as kids that we did in those days.
It was bad enough.
Well, I used to like play it, but I don't so much anymore because a lot of the people are quite a bit younger than me. So we used to like play football, have bike races, but I don't really go out so much anymore.
Okay. So what do you do instead?
Well, I do actually get up to making films with my friend.
Brilliant.
We do make films.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You like to show me a film tips and because I'm a novice, you know. Total novice.
Yeah.
This is the first one I've made. And what sort of films are those then?
Well, we generally make like kind of action
Excellent.
films. We put them on YouTube and...
I hope you aren't thinking along lines next time you need an ogre type figure. You're not looking at me.
So, earliest I would say, I can remember the marketplace. I don't think it's the same anymore without the market being what it was. It used to be a good atmosphere.
Yeah.
Hillards. I can remember the Hillards, Woolworths, all of these, shops that children these days won't even probably...
Did you ever play with the map?
Yes,
The
definitely.
lights?
Yes, the lights.
White Tower?
And walking, I still there, walking through, where the Halifax Bank is. And
Alfred's Way.
Yeah, and that open door and you walk down, it's still there. When you go there, honestly, even today, it brings you back to your childhood.
Well, it does me because we used to go out for his dinner at Batley High School.
Yes.
And the amount of times I slipped and fell on my backside in that.
A lot of people,
because it was
in those days, we all used to wear those slip-ons as well. And
no grip.
That
one of them were wearing trainers back then. So, lovely.
Well, my earliest recollection was when my grandma and me used to, we'd been to my Auntie Anne's and she lived up Park Road in Batley. So we caught the A-bus into Marketplace and caught some, and got some chips with bits on, a penny for chips, an old penny, and from Smith's Fish Shop, which were Stephen's, grandma's fish shop.
Right.
And that's what I say when I say we could hear them cackling. You get up at bus and you could hear them laughing, both him and his mother, and they're very similar laughs. That you get an old penny and you get a load of chips. For a penny you get a load of chips. Yeah.
I went to Batley High in 1985 when they were, and seeing people who are now what they call year 11s, we used to call them fifth formers, walking around with studs through the nut, punk hairstyle, mods.
Nidge, my mate Jace the mod.
Mods, fishtail cut. Let's just say the one, apart from us in the first year, there wasn't many who had the full blazer on and the tyre, and people would scare you about, you'd go here, you'd do it, they put your head down toilet, they do this. I mean, there's no girls, it's just all males, testosterone flying around, there's no girls to take your attention, so there was just fights every day. I remember being in the first year, and I used to go to my auntie's on Wilton for my dinner, so I used to walk down back at Old Hospital, and once all these kids from Whiteley were coming up for a fight, and you were pretty lucky if you were a first year, because they didn't really, you'd be seen as, pretty sad if you were hitting lads who were like that big, but I remember it all going on and all this, and just being barged out away on corridors, there's a fight and people rushing. I remember one lad had the audacity to lose a fight, and he just were laid with his head on the floor, just like crying, and he wouldn't get enough because all the kids that had gathered around were just spitting on him, spitting on his blazer. That's a horrible thing to say, but it's just, this is Thatcher's Britain. It's 1985. There's miners stuff. There's a lot of broken homes. There's just it. You know, it just went on. It would like it all on.
Youth clubs. Touched on it earlier on. Youth clubs. Somewhere for kids to go. All piling. I mean, there are, but I mean, it was like I remember at Swallows, Anne and Pete Swallow. They used to have that nightclub up road, exclusive. It called Entertainer. I think we called it Entertainer before.
That in Dewsbury.
Well, that in Dewsbury.
Entertainer.
What did they call it then? It was exclusive, and then before then. Anyway, we used to walk piling in on I think it was Tuesday night, and I'd only be 13. Adam and Else were in charts at the time. And it was somewhere to go. You know, you got off out your mother's way, and you got up there, and you met all your pals what were there, and carry on there. Then we used to go down to Chivago's. It's funny because I remember my mate saying, "You go to Chivago's," I think that was on a Thursday night, and I had nothing to wear. And he lent me a Fred Petty top. And then sidings. It was sidings. What exclusive? I think we called sidings before. But then exclusive come about just as I left school. Just before I left school, we went into sidings, and exclusive, and that were great. And Rafa Club had a thing for kids. So there are all these you know, that's 4 things I've named. Going out throughout the week though, we could go and listen to our music, have a dance, you know. So I think answer to your question, Simon, is a part of my youth that I'd like to see or would benefit this town or whatever, would there definitely be a gathering point for kids to be able to go and be themselves, be monitored but be themselves and have it regular.
I think it helped moving from one chapel to the chapel where my wife was brought up, which was Cambridge Street Independent Methodist Church, very near the public library.
Yeah.
It is now the RAF Association.
Excellent, I didn't know that was a church, you see.
Yes,
I've learned something new every day.
Yes, I think I changed over there at the age of 15 and joined their youth group.
Wonderful.
Which set the pattern for the rest of my teenage days, really, because we're a wonderful youth group, some great guys and some great girls. And it's the fact that later in life, I remember of the dozen or so members of the youth group, 10 of us intermarried.
Right.
So yes, it
excellent.
Was sort of I think all kids from 12 or 13 onwards, you know, sort of were sweet on some girl or other at school or other. But I think my wife was I think we first noticed each other in our mid-teens while I was still a paper boy, and she was walking on the other side of the street to go call at a friend's house, and we used to sort of look at each other and move on, you know.
Yeah.
And but it wasn't until really I went to join her chapel and a youth group that we sort of got to know each other slowly to to eventually develop into a
yeah.
not always a straightforward relationship.
Well, like I say, my grandma were very strict. So while other girls of 15, 16 used to go dancing at, what did they call it, Kathleen? At Gertie. And I couldn't go with them because she always said that you were looking after boys and, you know, what they'd do and all the rest of it. So I couldn't go.
Oh dear. So that's your next question then, Amy. What about your first boyfriends? How did you go about courting back then?
It was difficult to say the
imagine,
least. To say the least, it was difficult because I had a certain time to be in, which were 9 o'clock, and most of the boys that sort of fancied me said, "Oh, are you going home?" You know, they might have had something in mind if I stopped. I don't know. So I was very strictly brought up.
Yeah.
As before you were old enough to try and go into a pub, which were 15 really. I mean, we started going in commercial when we were 15, didn't we? On a Friday night. And probably a little bit after that, I started going to Henry VIII as well. I think one of the first times I ever went in were to watch Miley Cyrus play and Civilised Society. Because I went in with Eddie Torsney and Liam. Because obviously Pat were in bands, wasn't he? And I can remember being sat in there. And I'm probably only 15 then. And then we obviously started going to commercial every Friday night. And from winter to winter commercials, some lasses started coming there, didn't they? Probably pictures were probably where you'd go fairly regular. I used to go on a Monday night to pictures at Judas.
Actually, quid
in, wasn't it? Yeah, quid all in every Monday night. But then, so that was probably the first couple of pubs, and then Albion, Woodman.
We were an entertainer at 16, weren't we?
Yeah.
By the time I met our lass, I had enough of nightclubs.
Oh yeah, because we used to go to Entertainer on when you worked at
Thursday.
Yeah, because you worked at what was that place on Bradford Road?
Lucas.
Because you used to get paid on the Wednesday.
That's right, I did that.
And we'd go on Thursday on your wage, and then I used to get paid Friday, and then we'd go Friday on my wage, and that's what we used to do.
That's right.
So we'd have Thursday and Friday out.
Branch Road.
And what did they call it? The Super.
Eh?
The Super, was it?
No. I'd Rick on my mind, it didn't Rick.
And what kind of things did you see at the pictures?
Only, you know, I weren't allowed if it would be nasty.
No.
Cartoons and stuff like that.
Tell Simon about when you went to watch Old Mother Riley.
Oh,
Tell Simon.
My mother, well, it was a 3-story house in kitchen and bottom. And our friend came in and he says, "Oh, there's a real film, Mother, you'd love to see this." So he says, "Put your stuff away and I'll take you." And he took us to Vic. And I've never seen my mother laugh as much in my life. Our Mother Riley doing her tricks.
Well, Old Mother Riley the chap.
It was lovely.
Yeah. They'll all know Old Mother Riley. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she right enjoyed it, didn't she?
Yeah, my mother did. She did go to pictures and all like that. She'd rather be down did.
I've always, from being, I can't remember not listening to Cliff. My dad used, when my mum used to go out.
Cliff Mitchell, no?
Ha ha ha.
She got first record player.
Yeah. But when my mum used to go around to my Auntie Shirley's, I think it was, my dad used to listen to this music thing and he used to get me up because he knew I wanted to sleep, and we'd listen to it, then I'd be back in bed before my mum came home. And that's when I first started hearing Cliff. And that's just been it, it's just been the one, the only. And I mean, I have got other people, but he's always being the one I went to see him when he come to Variety Club, and I waited outside absolutely ages so I could have a chat with him. Then when I got home, my dad were waiting up for me, because they did in them days, didn't they? And I felt awful then, because to get up to go on early shift to work. But at the time I was just focused on talking to Cliff, you know. But I did get the first record player, and the first record they ever bought me.
Bands to be. Oh, I love Doris Day. Doris Day. Oh, yeah, I had to
How
listen
can anybody
to her.
not like Secret
Yeah,
Wolf? It's a great song.
absolutely. Yeah, I like Doris Day and them. The bands, they used to come to Gatey, and it were, I think it were about 1 and 6 on the Saturday night, but when they got a big band, it were 3 and 6, so you had to be prepared for that, so a lot of money to us. And they had Jack Parnell, they had Ted Heath, quite a few well-known ones, you know. Dennis Lotus, Lita Rosa, all they were there. Johnny Dankworth, they all came to Gatey. And it was really good, and I liked the music you could dance to, but I also, my favourite and my best love of all is traditional jazz.
Really?
And I still like that, yeah.
See, I like the ragtime. I'm not improvised jazz. I'm not.
Oh, I love it. I like.
Dewsbury being notorious mill towns, did you harbour any ambitions to be something other than a mill worker?
Yes, I wanted to be a hairdresser.
Excellent.
But because I went first to go to work, I had to go to boxes. Not that I wanted to, but because I had to.
Yeah.
And then when money didn't go up, and they were getting more money at Briar, I ended up at Birstall Carpets. And it wasn't, do you want to? It's, you are.
You had no choice.
No. I mean, it really...
Thanks, Dad.
You know, you don't do that with your kids.
No.
Not I love.
But even schools were geared up for it, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
churning you out to go work in mills and stuff, weren't they?
Yeah.
In Batley, I would have to say, from a very, very young age, Fox's Biscuits has to be probably one of them. Also, the town hall in Batley and the police station, all that area
That's
what we
where, yeah.
see, and obviously the street itself, the town, Batley Town Street, Commercial Street. I think it still has the same look. Okay, shops may have changed, etc., but when you go there, and if you've seen it from your very, very early age, you still know exactly you know where you are. And the cobbled street near the marketplace as well, and that I'm sure it just goes back for many, many years.
Yep.
I don't know about then, but I miss the old Batley as it was. There were some wonderful shops. You get everything you wanted in there, top class shops. And it was a good shopping area, a really good shopping area. And you could meet your friends there. There's always plenty of entertainment.
Smithies. The Smithies.
Smithies, yeah.
The junction, I mean, there
were 2 or 3 pubs there and a big mill.
What was the mill called?
Prospect.
Was it Prospect? Is that became SPL?
Prospect, and then there were
across the road there was another, wasn't there?
Gas showrooms.
Yeah.
And that building now it says to let, Clarence Hall, do you know what I mean? Just before you get to the Smithies as you're going up, it's been used as offices for a while.
Yeah, it has.
Well, I remember when my Auntie Ethel got married, she got married then, it's a proper ballroom. But I've never heard it from anybody else except I remember. And it's for sale again now as offices. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
And I bet nobody knows there's a might not be now.
Well, football was a school thing, definitely, until I was far older, well into my early 20s, before I started playing on a Sunday every week. Still didn't make no difference to my impressive physique. And I'd 5-a-side as well, so...
you could be a 5-a-side team on your own now, couldn't you?
I could. I fill every shirt. I really dislike it sometimes. I was never really good at rugby, unlike my brother. I was never really interested in rugby. Not that it was too tough for me or anything, I just didn't like it, I didn't understand it. But I'll argue the point that I don't look the sporty type. I think on the contrary. When I was 16, I used to go into the Crown at Staincliffe with my mum and dad, and that's where I learned to throw darts. And these days I look like a darts player.
Yeah, sure. Or a sumo wrestler.
Or sumo wrestler. Or butterbean.
Untitled Church
At St Paul's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
26th of March. Oh, blimey.
You just said 1948?
I said 48, you said 18.
I was 18, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Excellent. 48. That, my mum would have only been 5. And did you have children? If so, how many?
I had a little boy, and then I lost one, and then I had another little boy.
Excellent.
So
Not so good about the one that you lost. My mum lost her first, so there'd have been even more of us. God help us. So, and where are they now? Do they still live locally?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
One lives down the street next to opening to here.
Yeah.
And the other one lives in Gomersall.
Excellent. So proud Birstall lads, it's fair to say then.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
Yeah.
14th of June 1952, Batley Parish Church, with everybody there but McNabara's band, because in the family it was the first wedding in Len's family.
My two
Since the
sisters
war.
had war weddings.
Right, okay.
And they wanted a full
We
blown
didn't. We'd have just gone to the
registry office,
Yeah.
be quite happy.
No, we did.
But no, they wanted me to.
They wanted a big door.
So that's what we had.
So we had a lovely wedding. We had as many of the family as we could afford to ask there. We had the reception at
Temperance
the
Hall.
Temperance Hall at Batley, because they just weren't places where...
Which was the Temperance Hall?
It was...
We know where the
It
town
was
hall is.
behind. It's where the court was.
Right.
The court, that building behind the town hall.
Yeah.
They turned that into the court, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
There was the Co-op men's shoe shop. At
Yeah,
the bottom.
below there, yes.
It was there.
And then we had a honeymoon in London and Bournemouth, didn't we?
Mhm.
We were married for 10 years before Joanna came on the scene. 2 years later, Fraser.
Well, at the aforesaid Cambridge Street Independent Methodist Church in Batley on March 31st, 1956.
My wife's birthday is March 31st.
Right.
She wasn't born in 56. So, you had children. How many did you have?
We had 2 boys.
2 boys, lovely. And where are they now? Do they still live locally?
Yeah, our older boy was 57. Wow. Yeah. He drives for an electrical supplies firm. Our younger boy, who is 46, works in Asda HQ in Leeds.
Wonderful. Brilliant. Were there any specific reasons you chose to remain here? Was it out of sheer love and pride for the area, or were there other mitigating factors?
We did depart the scene a couple of times. In our early married life, we moved to the south coast because I went to my first editing job on a series of weekly papers when I was 23, I think it was. So we had just over a year on the south coast. Then came back up and I rejoined the Batley News as its chief reporter. But then in the mid-60s, we emigrated to Canada.
Wow.
When we just had the older boy, who was actually 7 on the boat going across. And we had 18 months of life in Ontario.
Excellent.
Where I was one of 2 assistant editors on a small evening paper. But then came back to this house actually, which we had rented off in the meantime. Yeah.
Brilliant. Fantastic.
20th of October 1973. 3 days before my 19th birthday. Give him a 20. And we got married in Castleford. Because even though I was courting, I had to go to Castleford. So I lived there for a year. And then got married and come back.
She used to come and stay with me at weekends.
I did.
So you could see Kevin?
Till we fell out and then I stayed at our Betty's.
Do you mean till you fell out?
We used to fall out, yeah.
I think that's just siblings in
We
general.
fell out when we were kids and she smashed a plate over in the head. 6 plates. Well,
Six
I'm trying to be
plates.
nice. I'm trying to be nice. And my mum's saying,
What's going off in there?
And I get nothing, ma'am, you know, she's just banging these plates away.
Stop me drying up, didn't it? Worked. If I don't in my hands, I just...
Bit of Greek in you.
Just shoes. And then I was playing patience at City here, and she stood there winding me up, so I got her hold of her by hair, and next thing she knew, she's off over here.
Sure, we're not related. You're not a relative of my mum's.
Why my ears are a lot shorter than hers?
Oh, poor Kevin Histon has been up the wall, and I've calmed down. I'm dead placid. I'm so boring. I'm dead placid. So, but yeah, we got married in Casper, but we had his night do at Trades.
The music was my contribution. We came into the opening line was from Casablanca, and it was Dooley Wilson doing A Kiss Is Just a Kiss, which raised a few eyebrows. But the main bit, while we were going to sign the register, was the theme tune from The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. And that virtually, I was looking at two specific people who were actually sat next to each other, because I knew they both recognised the theme tune. One was my Auntie Brenda. She wasn't my auntie, always called her Auntie Brenda. She used to run a pub, the Park, up at that place we don't mention with the moor on it. She had a pub there, and they then took another pub in Heckmanwyke, and Brenda was a character, an absolute gem of a woman. And sat next to her was Sally, my first wife. Well, she made the cake.
Right, well,
for my second wedding.
Yeah.
And she wasn't going to come at first, and I said, no, I'm not coming. But she came, and she was sat next to Brenda, and when that theme music started, I was looking straight at her, and I was wearing a Panama hat. So I just tipped the hat, and we went out to Fats Domino's, walking to New Orleans.
7th of March 1953, and I just had one girl, 1956. That's telling your age.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm trying to...
Don't bother, don't bother.
Yeah. You don't look a day older than...
that.
48. Do I win on that one?
Yeah, you win on that one. You know that.
Yeah, you definitely win on that one.
So, right. And is that a picture of your dad?
Yeah.
That was before I met him. He was in Egypt there.
Dashing chap. Shall I tell you what I think he looks like? I know, he don't gob me. You know the TV presenter, Ben Fogel?
I do, something. He always reminded me of Frank Highfield.
Oh, that's a bit before my time.
Yeah, but that's just... Yeah, I suppose he does. He want the athletic build of him.
Right, okay. Right. So, where is your daughter now? Does she sat here? And does she still live locally? For the benefit of the camera.
Well, no, she has a house in Malaysia.
Oh, do you know?
But her daughter has gone within a quarter of a mile of
Where
her
you
second home. We were at Trinity Mount.
Yeah, we were, yeah.
Which was at one side of Carlton School, and now I'm at the other side of Carlton School, having been to the Middle East and Malaysia in the...
Yeah, she's lived in Qatar, in Arabian Gulf.
Yeah.
Lovely, very nice.
And then she's got a house in Malaysia. I mean, it hasn't got a kitchen and a bathroom yet, but...
It's got roof and doors and windows.
Yeah.
And tile floors.
I'm actually getting married in February next year in the Lake District, so I haven't actually got round to that one yet. But I've been with my partner quite a while now, and I have one biological son, Elliot, and a stepdaughter, Abigail, who I treat as my own, and love them both to bits. So yes, I have not been married here, but I have been to many weddings and family weddings and friends' weddings in the town, and if you were to say Batley and wedding to me, I would say, I wonder how many wedding receptions I have been to at Dance Club 21. I don't know if it's still open or what, but it just
18th?
everybody has at some point. If you're from Batley, you will have been to the Dance Club 21, where the chairs are just round the side. There's a stage for Batley, and there's a little old woman that run it for years and years and years. And I don't know if it were a place that opened. Still to this day, all I know is if somebody knows where's reception, Dance Club 21. It was just something.
Right, we got married in September 1992 at Dewsbury Registry Office. As father-in-law, or my father-in-law even, gave us the option of a big swanky wedding, which neither of us were bothered about, or paying for curtains, carpets and stuff for his flat, which we chose. Now, tinged with a bit of sadness, I don't know if I've told you this before, but 6 days before we got married, my dad died. And it was a bit of a funny week, it's fair to say. He died day after my stag do. He didn't come on it, which I wish he had in some quarters, but I'm glad he didn't in others. And the reception was at Etmon White Rafford Club, which is no longer there. And all my brothers had big, fancy, sit-down jobbies, whereas ours was a buffet. We had Garth of DJing, and they all commented on what a great day it was. Just as good a day as theirs. And that's all I needed in a year, really. Yeah, and we're still going strong. Some, what we coming up to 22 years this time, aren't we? Yeah. So, Arlene were 8 months old when we got married. When we first found out she was pregnant with Liam, we did ring Staincliffe Church. Andrew's baptised, I'm not. So we'd have been alright, but there's no way I was going to have him head dipped in any water to get married. No chance, not for anybody.
I'm a homebody. I love my town. I love Batley. That's what I'm brought up. And Susan came from Birstall to me. I won't go anywhere. I'm born in Batley, born and bred in Batley, born in the house. 75 Talbot Street. I was born there, on Talbot Street. I suppose I'm like a bloody salmon. You know what I mean? I'm happy where I am. I'll go off and do my things I've got to do. Well, life carries me and takes me. But I was going to come back here, and I've too much investment anyway in my friends, my family, my home. To leave.
You're still a regular attender of.
Yes, we attend mosque regularly, and that's something that we also instill into our children as well. It's not strict, there's no oppression, as one would say, even for the females. It's done by choice. I mean, if you see the relationship I have with my own children, in this day and age, I feel that you have to be very friendly, and you have to create that friendship with your children. You have to have things in common. I mean, my children love football, so I, also from a young age, I love football.
Which team?
It's a split, a bit of a split here. There's 2 Liverpool.
No, 3.
Well, my wife, she's Liverpool, is a 3, and me and my eldest son, we're Man United. So,
well, stop it.
it has changed, especially Mount Pleasant, that there are no white people, English people living on Mount Pleasant whatsoever, which it's not nice. I think it should have been as it was when we were young.
I should have said exactly the same about Staincliffe Estate.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the only English couple I know is, like I said, my mum's next door neighbours, Sheila and Brian. I don't see anybody else, and it's a shame, is that, you know, because, I mean, my mum and dad.
Everybody got on.
Yeah.
This is what I don't understand. What happened?
I think it's probably a lot of people travel further for work now.
Such as me.
You know, I can't think of off the top of my head any thriving businesses in Batley and Dewsbury unless you think of like the Old Fox's Biscuits, Kalon. There's no mill work, there's nothing like that. Everything seems to be shops. So if anybody does want to probably have a career, they've probably got two choices. They either start their own business, which I don't know what kind of business you want to start in Batley or Dewsbury, or they travel further afield. Because there's nothing around here, unless you're quite happy just to, which some people aren't, there's nothing wrong with that, just to work places on minimum wage and work in Asda, Tesco's, places like that. There's nothing.
And you as owner of your own business are in a better place than most of have that view.
Yeah.
Witness it more than I do.
Yeah, and I suppose, I mean, although I have quite a lot of clients in Murfield, Batley, Dewsbury, probably the biggest section of clients of ours are probably in probably Huddersfield, coming into Murfield, but then Elland, Brighouse, and then we have quite a few in Leeds areas. I would say that the smallest percentage, cause we cover, well, it's all West Yorkshire really, but I would say the smallest percentage of clients per town in Kirklees or a bit further afield is probably Batley and Dewsbury.
What did you think about Batley Market?
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And I knew everybody. There was only one thing that put me off a bit was there was a stall at bottom and there'd been shopping, dearest shopping in Batley, and left the parcel. And I were there, and I just picked the parcel up and they grabbed me. It were, I don't know, some things to wear. But they all came to me, rescued it, man. They were, thought they were it, you know.
But you gave that back to the stallholder, didn't you?
Yes.
And you got a reward.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, she did.
I know, I stood there and this lovely carrier bag, you know, on my legs and that. I thought, well, it's in Towers. So I gave it back to its stallholder, like.
Yeah, one time again.
Well, the stallholders I can remember that we went to time and time again was Rothery's, which sells chain store clothing at a cheaper price, and they're still, the family business is still held on Batley Market on a Friday. And then there was Roberts, the meat people, who sold the roast ham, roast pork pies, who came from Sutton, and that continued for quite a few number of years. And as far as I know, they finished now. I never see them anymore anywhere. But Rothery's are still going. But I mean, the market in Batley was superb at one time, and it stretched right from the Commercial Street right up to the Memorial Park.
The florist.
Yeah, the florist. I used to. Yeah.
Excuse me.
I think Game shut down Junction 27. That shut down. Yeah, but there aren't many that. But a lot of the time there's like a certain shop in Birstall that comes for like 2 months, but then gets shut down. Then comes back as another one. Then that gets shut down. But like they all start as like small businesses.
I think to be fair, what I saw at Birstall, not many empty units, is there?
No, there isn't, but it's quite high turnover businesses.
Yeah.
It's good because there's a lot of like small businesses.
Yeah.
It's good because there is a lot of like small businesses. It's good to support.
That's a credit to Birstall itself, is that?
Yeah.
In my humble opinion.
Yeah.
I think getting the white same Clegg thrives, so why it can't happen in Batley and Dewsbury, I do not know. No idea why.
Yeah, it's like Jack said, it's nice to support local
It is,
businesses.
of course it is, yeah.
We use the butchers a lot, don't we?
Yeah, they're very nice.
What, proper pork pies and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, get in. Weird jelly. Mine don't like jelly. So what makes a pork pie? I don't know.
Not being able to walk down Main Street and see it as it used to be.
It's the atmosphere, isn't it, I think?
Yeah. There's just nothing there at all.
There's no shops you want to look in.
No.
No, there isn't. No,
there isn't.
No.
There's no shop windows.
You can't walk on town and stop
No
and look
curb
in the
appeal, is
windows.
No.
Even at Lasting's gone, hasn't it?
Well, I don't know whether it's
I think
gone.
it's still there.
Is it still there?
Yeah, but you used
Hanging
to
on,
do
isn't
skippers, you know.
Yeah,
and then-
there's only
There's
skippers is
skippers.
still. I don't know whether it's still called skippers.
I think it is.
Is it?
I think it's
But it used to be at the other side of the road, opposite Woolworths.
It did, in the middle somewhere there. I remember I was taking some earrings back I'd bought, but you won't let me out. When I just got my ears pierced.
Must have been for our Emily's second birthday badge. Our Kieran used to get them all the time. Can't go out without getting a birthday badge from that shop. Oh, it was a good old shop, wasn't it? I remember used to go right into the back, looking at all birthday cards. And then they were all, I can't remember what they were. My mum used to tell us off for picking up every time. Same old thing as well. Used to go straight to them, me and our
Big
Kieran.
streamers and stuff what they call them that you blew on and
Hot balloons and them, it were them cracking stone things that you throw at the ground and it used to bang. It used to be a favourite sound. Up Ely. Make someone jump.
Wonderful.
Very sad.
Disappeared.
Because it wasn't, as I say, I've never been a big drinker, but I always go in pubs because that's where you get news.
Yes.
People tell you stories. And so just the other day I was putting them down, the ones that I used to go in. And so you get among the fallen, as I call them. There's the Albion at Batley Car. And then the Albion in Crossbank Road. That's gone too. The Black Bull in Upper Commercial Street. I mean, that used to be the place, one of the places to go. The Fleece, or Church Steps in Stocks Lane. The Lord Nelson at Crossbank. The New Inn in Pearlwell Lane, just round front Butcher's there. The Royal Oak in Albion Street, the one that's now, well, it's been developed in Mr. Smith around there. The Royal Hotel in Bradford Road.
Remember that?
Later became all sorts of names, last name Mungo. If you remember.
Was that at the bottom of the clip?
Yeah.
Oh, Royal that.
That was the Royal.
Ones, it were rough
And it had a smashing service. I don't know. I don't mean about Mungo. I'm talking about when it was the Royal.
Oh, Royal, right.
And because the Royal and the other one, I forgot it's a funny name now. As you go into the Mill car park on the corner,
Le Schwab,
whatever they call
the
it.
Victoria.
They were Victoria. That's right. They were commercial hotels, especially attractive to people coming from by train to Batley. So the Royal was important.
Well, I don't think visitors ever came to Batley years ago. We were a kid. I think they looked down the nose at us. Now, I don't think they think about it. They think it's a rubbish town. They only remember the Variety Club, don't they? That's the main thing Batley's remembered for. The only thing that put Batley on the map was Batley Variety Club. Is that what he said?
More or less. And his exact words were, what visitors?
Yeah, exactly. They think we're a laughing stock. When we were kids, when nobody came to Batley, unless it was your family, your relatives, and they didn't stay over because, you know, you didn't have room, and my auntie from Hartlepool came, but they went back in a day on the train, because you could get on the train anywhere. But we didn't have visitors. What for? What would you come to Batley for? The Variety Club made it because people came to the club. But then the Mill Village opened, didn't it? And that's supposed to bring people in, but nobody would come to Batley by, and that sounds awful, doesn't it? Sad. Nobody would come to Batley by choice, would they?
Overall, they're generally a good bunch of people. All of them. But there are some, obviously, that are better than others, and some that ain't as good. And I don't have much interaction with the younger generation, whereas when I was that age, or 8 upwards up to teenagers, and as you probably did, you had interaction with adults. You don't get that interaction now, or I don't get it. Maybe that's because I'm isolationist.
There's a little bit of community spirit, like 10 or 12 people get together.
Yeah.
But it's not really a community, it's just, you know, being friendly and having a chat.
Circle of friends.
So, no, I don't think there is.
No.
No.
That's really sad, because...
It is.
It is.
Me personally, it'd be all the people and our friendship, the bonds that I've created in the local area. I can't speak. Yeah, the people really, local people that have been here all their lives.
You've already answered this one earlier, but you can say it again. Are you still proud to say you come from Batley?
Oh, of course I am.
Brilliant.
I won't have it any other way. Always proud of my roots.
And do you think enough effort's being made to preserve Batley?
Not all, no. It's changing for the worst in my eyes. And I'm sure in many others.
I love the people of Batley. I've never lived anywhere else, and I've got all my life and all my lifelong friends are here, them what's still alive, and I love them, yeah. I do, and I don't mention the D-word, but I've got a lot of good friends down there as well.
I'm not sure, it's kind of, well, people from Birstall generally know a lot about the history of Birstall, the kind of general culture of it, but I'm not sure there's anything that really defines someone as coming from Birstall.
And you find history's an important thing?
Yeah, because you can't lose your history. It's
Tremendous answer. Spoken with the wisdom of, yeah, it is.
Yeah, but I think that they are proud of being from Birstall.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of it goes back to our history, because obviously Joseph Priestley, who discovered oxygen, so he's really important, and he's come from round here, so it kind of thinks that just because you're from a small town doesn't mean you can't do big things.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's great.
Brilliant. So, I can gather by where you've spoken already, but I shall ask you anyway. Are you proud to come from Birstall? And if so, why?
Yes, definitely, because it's not really big so that you don't really know anyone. There's loads of like massive shops that you kind of can't really talk to anyone, but everyone's like, now it's here, it's small, so you know everyone, you kind of know people from shops, the shopkeepers, you know all them. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Lovely answer.
Mother.
And Batley Park is nice at the bottom there.
Try
It's
being
just
positive.
want some money spending on it, done to tie her up.
When we filmed there, there'd been...
I mean, when I was young, it was nice for Batley Park.
Yeah.
There were a banding, you know, and a
bandstand.
bandstand.
It's lovely, wasn't
And
Hope. We still have hope. We can still work together. People from all backgrounds, we can all come together and work in a way that, you know, from a young age we can teach our children, we can create activities for children that they understand what cultures are, and, you know, respect one another, respect each other's faith.
So if you could encourage the younger element of Birstall to take a more active interest, how do you think they ought to go about it?
Well, I think if they could start youth groups up again, or if there was something for young'uns to do, by that I don't mean skate parks and stuff like that, but I think if they could go into at some people there that
Inspired him.
yeah, that had them do something, and even show them how to do stuff.
Yeah.
Some might want to be electricians, some might want to be joiners, some might want to be plumbers. Why don't a few tradesmen get together and show them?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I think that will be quite dependent on how our local councillors, the local council is made up. And if we're still at the stage where we are Kirklees, and you've got Huddersfield as the centre, I don't think we'll have made a lot of progress. But I think if it is split, as there is, you know, muted to say that they're split it, I think then we might see sort of a more integrated approach to make things better for us. If the community of immigrants keep coming in, then I don't think it'll be the Batley that I know today or knew in the past. It'll be completely different. Now, I'm not saying that would be a bad thing, but I don't think it will have the feel of the Batley that I know and love.
If you could be anywhere else in the world right now, what part of Batley would you like to take with you?
The quab. Oh dear.
Wilton Park.
Oh,
Yeah.
how nice.
Because that's got so many qualities, and it's got the lake, it's got
Like
the
Sean
woods,
Williams.
the walks, the museum, the commemoration tree of the fact that the man who invented IVF came from Batley. That's there too, and so many things.
Home, memories of early childhood, the neighbours, what I grew up with, even though they're not there now, family, schools. Yeah.
So we're great schools.
No matter where you go, whenever I go on holiday, after about a week or so, I'm homesick and there's no place like home.
Same.
Yeah.
Mainly because my dad did so much for Batley, and it still remains in my heart and a lot of people's hearts, but he were marvellous and he did such a lot for Batley. I can't tell you how I feel about it, that nobody's really recognised him utterly, and he did such a lot for the town, and it just rubbed off on me particularly, not my sister but me, because I went to a lot of things with him, and he was a hero to me, really.
What it means to you?
Home.
Lovely. Yeah.
History, heritage and pride.
Brilliant.
Because it's got all three for people that have been there.
What means to you?
Family. Family, yeah. Home. My one word, home. It is home. Yeah, it is home.
Home. Place of birth and beginning of the family. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Still means to me, well, it's everything really. Local lad and that. Everything, yeah.
Brilliant.
Washing down his sins, sisters in her bedroom, taping the top 10, brothers in the bathroom, working out what turns boys to men, shoehorned round the kitchen table, gathered en masse for Sunday dinner, cannot touch our Yorkshire woods until we're seated with the sinner. Silence descends on everyone. In the distance the radio crackles. Excited men with microphones, scrum downs and high tackles. Hearts filled with happiness, our houses filled with tenderness. No better way to spend the afternoon. Now in a world of bitterness, we lament the loss of innocence. We would all grow up too soon. Back to the football field, have to show my mettle. Mother would chastise me, let your dinner settle. A tribal gathering has amassed at least 15 a-side. We played until the sunlight faded, or at least until last hopes had died. Back down to our humble home, covered in mud and bruises. Sunday cricket on the box, in an armchair my daddy snoozes. Mum shouting for me to run the bath, be steady with the water flowing. In exactly an hour it's time for bed, so bingo they are going. Hearts filled with happiness, our houses filled with tenderness. No better way to spend the afternoon. Now in a world of bitterness, we lament the loss of innocence. We would all grow up too soon. We would all grow up too soon. Nothing but a distant memory now. and the old